who does this prioritization? Who actually kind of prioritizes in the context of our work? Of course, we all need to prioritize. We all need to do prioritization in our own little ways, whether working as a developer, tester, we're working as an analyst, we're working as an architect or a manager, a salesperson. Everybody, all of us will prioritize our work in our own ways. But then when it comes to the development of a product or an application that we have got, for example, the e-commerce website, you've got the business teams and the senior management and the middle management. They take some decisions about the directions which this product needs to go, what markets, which direction, what kind of, is it a B2B or a B2C market? Is it a business to business product? Or is it actually catering to the business to consumers? So in which case the whole focus would be completely different. So the first question that you need to ask is, as a business person, is it a B2B product or is it a B2C product, or perhaps a C2C product? So it's a peer-to-peer. So anybody can actually kind of share some stuff, and then that's where most of these eBay or this kind of, even Amazon for something, but Amazon does a bit of moderation there. All of these, they actually are kind of platforms where you can put your goods, and then like Gumtree, for instance, Gumtree.com, which is actually kind of, you can put your product up for sale and somebody else can look at the bike that you put up, and then they can offer you, and it's done, deal done, right? So that's a C2C, the consumer to consumer product. So as business, we need to understand what kind of market you're into. Is it a B2B, B2C, or C2C? First thing. And then which markets, which geographical markets you would like to be. Do you have, thankfully with the technology, you can actually have, sitting here in London, I can have my product being sold and delivered in US, in India, in Australia, in everywhere, pretty much all over the world. The online delivery takes care of that, right? The delivering, the online mechanism. So is that, so which industry it is, which domain it could be, what kind of market we are chasing, right? All of these, what kind of target audience, all of these decisions and prioritization gets done by the business team. And the next level of prioritization is actually done with the product owner. So the product owner, the product management team, they take the next level of the features in terms of where the product needs to be addressed to. What is the kind of release mechanism? What's the major release? What goes into the minor release? When are we going to release it? So again, going back to the release mechanism, we have a tick-tock release strategy with Apple. So the tick-tock, just like your clock. So the tick is basically a small release, and tock could be a big release. So every minor update they come up with, and within iOS 14, for example, they're releasing the iOS 14. They've already done it, I think 2 weeks ago, 14.1. And the next one, if there is any update or change or defect fixing, they're going to do that in the next 2-3 months. And then, so that's going to be small features, adding small features, sorting out security issues and things like that. So that's a minor release every month or every 2 months. The big release, a big one, is again in April. The next big one is going to be in April, and then the next one in September. So tick and talk. So tick is a small one, and talk is a big product launch, new version of a completely new product, right? That's the Apple's release strategy. So as a product management team, you need to decide for your own product, what goes into the minor release, what goes into the major release. So again, going back to our example of the e-commerce website, we can actually say by November, we will release the catalog, right? And by February, we're going to have the shopping cart functionality ready. So you can actually kind of see what is in the cart, what have you selected. You can actually kind of check out the cart. And by April 2021, we're going to enable the payment. So you can actually order online completely. You can complete the payment and then with a credit card by April. And by July or August, we're going to have the payment accepting PayPal integration. You can pay through the credit card, through bank transfer, and through checks. So what you're trying to do is you're actually kind of laying down your release and you're prioritizing which ones come first. So in terms of prioritization, your business value comes first, right? So you look at the overall transactions, overall trends, and you observe that people are paying through credit card more often now. So you actually go for, okay, let me prioritize credit card, paying through credit card as the first feature. And then comes the other things. If it's a business, they would like to pay through check. They might actually pay through the bank transfer, for example, if it's a big business. So we're talking about all of these in the context of the release. So we need to prioritize the releases as well. What features are released and prioritized when? Again, that's a decision which the product owner takes. And in terms of the further prioritization, so the development team, so that means analysts, the business analysts, the systems analysts, data analysts, architects, the business architect, solution architect. And then you also look at the developers, all the developers, the programmers, or whether it could be the data backend developers or the front-end developers, the designers, testers. The testers would also do the QA, in terms of quality assurance. They would actually kind of prioritize which features go when and what kind of plan is required. First the integration testing, then the functional testing, so on and so forth. And then the SME, the subject matter expert. So all of these contribute in their own way in terms of prioritization within the iteration, within the sprint. We're going to talk about that in the later half of this presentation in terms of Agile, how the backlog from there on to the release plan, and from there, from the release plan to the sprint plan, how does this whole thing work? We'll have a deeper look at that. So yeah, pretty much everyone in the team really does prioritization, and we all do in our own little ways